Guys, deluded, I'm back again. Now we know yesterday was official confirmation in regards to Ivan Gazidis departing the club, officially departing the club at the end of October. Then he will then take a short break, I believe, with his family to Australia before beginning his new tenure at AC Milan in, I believe, December. So just before the new year. So great way to enter a new year. But he's been here from what 8 to 10. Something keeps telling me 12 years. Let's just call it 10, give or take. Yeah, he's been here for an extended amount of time, and what is his legacy? To be honest with you, I mean, when I did some research and things like that, and I then thought to myself like, I think he's a bottler. I think ultimately he's spineless. Ultimately, he hasn't done too much good for this club, but yeah, it's interesting, and I thought let me speak about it or my opinions. Well, firstly, on the face of things, people, without getting into the micro, it would sound like he had a successful time at Arsenal because what he obviously he weren't here initially when we moved to the new stadium, but since he's come, we've got out of fine. Obviously, don't want it's not just him, and a lot of it is down to selling players and things. But on the face of it, he's been CEO or whatever. He's led us basically through the transition of not being able to spend money and things like that. And then what he's overseen what 5 record transfers technically by Arsenal standards in Mesut Ozil was definitely one. Aubameyang was definitely one. Lacazette was definitely one. I'm sure Xhaka was at the time as well. And there's one more person that was signed for not big money but big money. So I'm clearly forgetting them. Alexis Sanchez, I've got it here. Alexis Sanchez. So our 5 record signings. So we've seen us from financial issues to that. Ultimately, seen us win 3 FA Cup trophies. For a minute, we were still getting Champions League, but ultimately he leaves us with playing catch up commercially. We're then having to do this massive kit deal with Adidas that's coming in next season. I'm not a transfer man, but I mean, or a commercial man, but all you got to do is look at what City, United, etc., have been doing for years commercially, pushing themselves commercially, partnerships, strategic partnerships, footballing partnerships, partnerships with companies that ain't got nothing to do with it, all to increase their global presence. And we've, for years, it was just okay. It seemed like Arsenal, okay, cool, we've got a good deal, we'll stay with this. When you're seeing Chelsea, that's where Chelsea was sponsored by Adidas or something, ripped it up, and then with the Nike went with the Nike thing. So stuff like that is where we're playing catch up, especially because we're a club that allegedly hasn't got money to be able to go toe to toe with specifically Man United and City. So between getting the best partnerships, scouting the best players to enable us to make profit or reach first team level, we haven't done. We ultimately have not done that. He oversaw obviously ticket prices rising as well. He obviously saw the share price rise from around £7,000 initially when he came to obviously now what are they trading at, typically 30k, 30 just over 30 plus k for a couple of them. I'm no transfer man. A lot of that is down to TV rights, Premier League rights, probably inflation, and obviously Kroenke buying the club. But you can see his success there and success elsewhere. I mean, he's clearly a bottler. He's clearly someone that runs from being accountable. I mean, he's a great accountant, but he's scared of accountability. It's ridiculous. He's obviously made himself what probably around estimated 20 or 22 million pounds richer, and this club has gone backwards. We're arguably worse than when we initially moved to the Emirates because we had worse players somehow getting top four, and that was a running case for many a times at the Emirates. So either way, his legacy at this club is what probably just this last 6 months, and that's not even that. His legacy is ultimately hiding behind Wenger, overseeing some mad nonsense in that department. He leaves us a team that was consistently for Wenger's time as well, getting top four, out of the top four for 2 years. The team is arguably on the sporting front the furthest away from top four it's ever been. There's a new manager who you allegedly handled to come in, and you've left him in limbo now. Obviously, apparently, Ivan Gazidis was a big fan of Stat DNA that a lot of people were reluctant to introduce to the club. Allegedly, Jose Perez, El Nene, and who else? Mustafi and Gabriel were 4 players, so probably only one of them players that you say is okay in El Nene, but the rest, it hasn't happened for them. So he hasn't really got a legacy, and to be fair, like on the face of this, he really had nothing to lose. Like, yeah, man, he failed to raise the profile, like he said, to Bayern Munich level, failed to address key areas on the sporting front. Yes, it's not down to him, but it's down to Wenger to fix them things up. But you look at David Dean, completely different roles, but David Dean continuously lobbying managers or people of influence to sign new players to keep us going. He hasn't done none of that. He hasn't taken us to the next level. He's simply done is make Kroenke and himself richer and shareholders richer and do what he can to please them, and that's what it is. I mean, look, just looking at a couple of his quotes, I've got it here. In 2012, we get accused of a lack of ambition or complacency because apparently the board are only interested in top four. I know you are now. That is absolute rubbish. This is the most ambitious club I know. Jesus, my word. He's obviously said Leicester City's achievement is incredible, but it might not look so exceptional when we look back in 4 or 5 years. What are you on? And there's some more. Like, I've got a lot of them here. Like, what else has he got? These are all at different periods, people clearly, but he said this year we are beginning to see something we have been planning for some time, sorry, which is the escalation in our financial firepower. It means we can look at some options that aren't normally in our financial capability. That's not necessarily wrong, to be fair. We should be able to compete at a level like a club such as Bayern Munich. I'm not saying we are there by any means, but this journey over the past 10 years has really been with that goal in mind. So what was this? This was said in 2012. 6 years later, are you still anywhere near to Bayern Munich level? Or what's going on? We're closer to bait and them sides there than we are to Bayern Munich. Don't be silly. You've also said it is really now time for us to turn that into sporting success. We have a certain amount of money which we've held in reserve. We also have new revenue streams coming on board, and all these things mean we can do some things which would excite you. So 6 years later, you've just seen lies. You've just seen his money getting richer, Stan Kroenke getting richer, the club lagging behind commercially on the sporting front, and all of these other things that we need to really improve. Obviously, he's brought in Sanye, Mislintat, Huss Farney, bare other guys in great that are great in their respective sectors and stuff, and that's great. But you should have been doing this a long time ago. And to be honest, I have not got a lot of time for you. In a similar way, I say a lot of truths about Wenger will come out. A lot of truths might come out about you, good or bad, to make us look at you in a different light. But at face value, you've done nothing good at this club. You've tainted this club. You've been here for one of the most disastrous periods that I've seen as an Arsenal fan, to be fair, and ultimately you've been nothing more than just someone who speaks elegantly, speaks well rehearsed, and things like that. I mean, you'd be a great politician, man. I mean, you'd give, for the amount of nonsense you talk, you'd probably give David Cameron, Boris Johnson, and a couple of them and there a run for their money, because the sad thing is, Ivan Gazidis has that. It's always the crooks. He has something about him where when he speaks, he can capture your attention. Ultimately, he's a liar. I mean, I know we're speaking on Sunday at some Arsenal fan supporters thing or some sort of forum opened up for him. So hopefully they press the issue and press him and at least make him a bit uncomfortable until he leaves, man. But I got nothing more to say on this chump, man. Guys, deluded. Thank you for watching, and them things, damn out.